Yeah.
Hello, viewers around the world. You're welcome to my climate story with Tosin. And today we have the honor of featuring um, Tosin Elufowoju, who is the lead consultant at legal vessel law firm in Nigeria. And she also happens to be an eco-social lawyer. Tosin, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, my sake, Tosin. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you.
Great, great. But by the way, who is Tosin Elufowoju?
Yeah, great. Thank you. Yeah, Tosin Elufowoju. Well, I'm a lawyer, environmental advocate, and consultant. That's my niche area, even though I focus on business and corporate organizations. But environment, how the environment relates to SDG, how in terms of environmental policies and regulations and laws, those are my focus areas. I help businesses, social enterprises, institutions, agencies develop laws for their institution that would help environmental that would make environmental but I will encourage positive environmental behaviors. Let me put it that way. I also focus on sustainability, how businesses, social enterprises can apply sustainable approaches that would help their business preserve the environment while making profits. I'm also focused on philanthropy, in that individuals who want to sponsor eco-social startups, social enterprises, businesses to help the green economy move. So I help to mediate to ensure that in terms of that grant or the funding is being complied with effectively. So those are the areas which, and again, I'm an independent researcher. That was where I was able to learn so much about the niche, the environmental law space where I am. And so I do a lot of research in that environment. That's
Thank you. Yeah, before asking about your profession and the environment, um, what's your story? What's the interest about environment? Why are you concerned about environmental or climate change issue?
I'm concerned about it because it's about us, we humans. It's not. It's we used to think it's just a concept, but the environment is where we live. It is where we get our food. It is where we get our money. It is where we get the air that we breathe. The environment is us, and so we need to be passionate about it. If I take an example for the drying up of Lake Chad, where people get their source of living in Africa, they were not paying attention when the lake was drying. People, environmentalists, were speaking up, but we're not paying attention till eventually these people lost their means of livelihood, and it has led to an increase in crimes. People losing, they can't feed themselves, more poverty level is increasing. So that's where I majorly got my passion from. Again, I love nature. I love places that are naturally inclined, and these are things that have formed, my passion and then my drive, and then my research into that field. I took up my postgraduate studies in law, and then I had an encounter with one of our professors. And after the exercise, I was thrown at her brilliance. Really, that how can someone be able to blend the knowledge of the law and the sciences. Unfortunately, we are just taught law in school. But after that class, I felt I needed to know more than the law. I wanted to, the passion there was, I wanted to know, as in this, the causes of environmental degradations. Why should this law be implemented? Why should they be complied with? Even as a lawyer, I should not just shout. And so that it took me further into I went back to school again. I took a postgraduate diploma in environmental control and management, and that really exposed me and opened my eye, and I fell in love with the field completely. I met people too in that line, and then it was just something I just couldn't detach myself from, and I decided to carve a niche for myself there as a career path.
And so, in your research work, you found something that must have. What kind of feeling did you experience from the researches we discovered in terms of how environmental places where environmental regulations could have helped to protect nature from degradation. And also in some places where there are actually regulations put in place, laws, but the enforcement has been terrible. What kind of feeling have you had from such discoveries?
Yes. Your question was one part of the specific things that threw me into that niche. We have a lot of environmental laws, a lot of agreements, and yet there's still a lot of degradation. Things as like things are not happening. The more they advocate, the more they degrade the environment. Really, and that's why. And then I discovered is like you said, it's a problem of implementation, compliance and enforcement of these environmental of these laws. But again, I look at it that in terms of environmental issues, the law alone is incapable of, propelling positive environmental behaviors. There's a social aspect of the law. Now, environmental issues are not really hard laws. It's not so much like a criminal offense. So people are not so scared, even when they violate it. We should ask at the beginning. Environmental laws are soft laws. And so that's one reason why the implementation is not so effective. The compliance is not so effective. That's a major, major reason. Another thing I now found out is that unlike other areas of human endeavors which should be regulated, because the environment, it's more like it's more like an ethical thing. So we need to come from a different approach. I once did a research on the social compliance and enforcement of environmental laws in Nigeria, a social and a constitutional approach. That was where I discovered that the law in itself is incapable of propelling environmental behaviors because we already have lots of it. So now there's a need for we to interact with people on why they need to obey these laws. There is a need for proper education, reorientation, awareness, not just awareness like I would advocate, in a language that they understand, in such a way that they are able to appreciate the concepts and the reason why, they should take on environmentally sound behaviors. So those are the salient points that I picked. Beyond the law, there's like even some judges. If I say, okay, what is Anthropocene, may not understand that unless, again, you have gone, as in you've really done so much research. So we need everybody. We really need, beyond the law, there is need to educate people on the need to comply with environmental laws and take up environmentally friendly behaviors. So it's very important.
Great, thank you. I quite agree with you. The fact that, like someone said, um, you're in the academia, and I wonder sometimes there's a bunch of research work, bunch of discoveries, and that oftentimes have often end up on the maybe on bookshelf. They often don't translate into the community. In your own observation, how can you help more people who are in the academia to bring the gown to the town? How can they be more relevant? Some of this information or discoveries you've identified, and you notice there's a gap between what people discoveries and what happens there, how that's not leading to some behavioral change or attitudinal change that would help to promote environmental sustainability. How can we bridge this gap? How can more people like you in the academia bring those knowledge to bear in the community?
Okay. But first, I'm not only in the academia, I'm also a professional. I'm a lawyer. So it's not only the academia. I also offer my professional consultancy services. That aside, you've asked a very beautiful question. One, it's a personal thing. Two, it's an economical thing. Many people that you find in the academia went into the academia not because they had a passion for it, but just because it was the available job. And that's the reason why they are not churning out what the outcome of their research. Then two, if I will talk about my context in Nigeria, in Africa, we do not really appreciate this like the advanced countries whereby their researchers drive the economy with the products of their research. Be that as it may be, For me, I believe education, it should not just be about, going to school so that at the end of the day I can work and earn money. It should be a way to discover your passion and your purpose. When we talk about passion and purpose, it's not limited to the pulpit. You can use your career as a passion, as a fueled passion. It could be your purpose. There are several examples of people who are doing that. So when we begin to think about education in this light, things will change. That I'm not just going to school so that I could earn money. I am going to school to discover my passion, to discover my purpose, and then use what I've discovered to meet the needs of my community, the needs of the society and humanity. I think it's in this light that I saw the environmental field, and I told myself that I'm a solution to many of the challenges confronting us in Africa in terms of environment. And I'm going to do everything that I can. That's one passion that has fueled me. And I also have this belief that it's not money first, it is value first, it is meeting a need first, it is providing solutions first. When you are able to do that, then the profits would come. And so academics today, I want to believe that the younger generation or the upcoming generation of scholars are beginning to change this. In that you are not taking up a research just because I want to earn the title PhD. You are taking up that research because you have seen a need in the society that needs to be met. Those should be the reasons why, we should be picking up research topics now. Not just because, like my own undergraduate school days, funny enough, you could just, just pick any topic, go from previous projects and, just speak and then just research. That is not what it should be. We should think about topical issues. We should think about current challenges facing us as a continent globally, and see and pick it up as a research and see how we can provide meaningful solutions to it. That's the only way that our education will make a lot of sense. Like I was telling a friend that there's an entrepreneurial aspect of education. Now I'm beginning to delve into that. What I've studied in terms of the environmental field. How can I begin to apply it, not just apply it as a passion, but also make profits from it. And that's how it should be. Another challenge is that, we are not patient. Many youths are not patient. They want to get out of school and, begin to make money, which is understandable. Our parents has expended so much, and, you feel guilty that you should be able to give back immediately. And so we are not patient to want to stay in a particular area and start from scratch, from being unknown, keep putting in so much effort, keep researching, keep talking about it, keep voicing it till eventually you get to the peak where your the solution that you have been advocating for eventually comes to light. These are the reasons why this is someone like Rachel Carson, who first discovered the environmental degradation, the ozone, who brought it to limelight. Nobody listened to her when she started. If she had kept quiet as a product of our research, we wouldn't be where we are today. But there's nobody that studies in the environmental space that will not make reference to her one way or the other. So we as researchers, as scholars, the oncoming ones, that should be our drive. That should be our vision. What's your vision as a researcher? Are you just going in to, bear the title doctor? Are you coming in? Are you going there because of a problem you want to find solutions to? I think that is the approach we need to get to it. Beyond the profits, we should strive in solutions, meeting a need, providing value for humanity's challenges.
Like you rightly identified, and the importance of finding a need, identifying a problem around you, and creating be that solution that you hope to see in the world. Now, what are some of the potentials you've seen that young people can tap into when it comes to venturing into environmental response and initiatives, and that could in turns help to improve the state of our environment?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and some the project I've actually been working on silently. Now, many students believe, okay, the environmental whatever is attached, maybe environmental engineering, it's just a incapable of producing them substance, which now it's changing. There are a lot of aspects that one can tap into depending on your background, depending on what you want. I'll use working examples of those who even did not initially study anything related to the environment. And one notable one is Joke Links. She's beginning to produce waste. She's into upcycling sachets, pure water sachets like we use in our own climb, plastic bags. She's beginning to, recycle them into bags, things of very useful value and that can endure. And in recent times, she said she's going back to school to go and study on climate change, that she wants to understand more. So, how much more someone who has a first degree, let's say, in environmental management, and all through your 5 years in school, you were not able to discover a problem that you are going to bring solution into. Now we talk about upcycling, we talk about alternatives in terms of solar energy. Now, even a laptop, how can we build a laptop such that I don't need to, I can recharge my laptop using solar energy? This should be another person's drive in research. Now, it's possible to turn plastic bottles into, to tar roads. This is a product of someone's research. People are beginning, I've engaged with someone, where is in Uganda, that is from a guy from Uganda, working on turning plastic bottles into tiles, floor tiles, house tiles. People are there are numerous. Okay, my field, I remember when I went for my PGD, I didn't even know. I was asking myself, what am I looking for in this paper? Something was propelling me towards that line, and then they were like, how would you cope? But eventually I found out I coped, and I'm able to, marry both in terms of the environmental sciences and law. I found out that okay, I could begin to see how to draft how environmental clauses can begin to enter agreements, particularly for those in the construction sectors. We need to begin to take this into consideration. There should be clauses that relate to the environment in our agreements. Businesses should be able to incorporate environmental sustainability policies in their constitutions and memorandum of associations and other legal documents, helping driving their businesses. Businesses and companies too should begin to focus on this. So what is being termed environmental social responsibility as part of their corporate social responsibility. How they can give back to the environment that they are getting from. One of such is, if I want to use a case study of, businesses that are using plastic bottles, it's time they begin to collaborate with people from the who are in that space. How what will be the end life of these plastic bottles when, the customer satisfaction had been taken from it. Now people are building schools in rural areas with plastic bottles, so there should be a collaboration. And that's where I come in. They will want to, go into partnerships. They want to sign contracts. Yes, a lawyer can write an agreement, but only an environmental lawyer will understand, the necessary covenants, the necessary clauses, the necessary terms, the necessary ways to couch a policy. And so it becomes an advantage for me. That's my own part. I've used myself as an example, and other examples I've used in my field. So it becomes an advantage for me to collaborate with people from the environmental space.
Hello, can you hear me? You're frozen. Hello, Tosin, if you can hear me, you have frozen right now. Well, hello, viewers. I'm sorry, guests seem to be having some technical challenges at this point in time. Well, that's it. You just listen to Tosin Elufowoju sharing her perspective as a lawyer on what are the importance of how reason why we should have effective environmental policies to safeguard and to protect their environment and mitigate against impact of climate change, and also what are the possibilities and the economic potential as legal practitioner in areas that help to protect and coming up with the right legal framework that both businesses and the community and the society needs in a way that we can have a balanced and sustainable development um, process in our community and in our state. Well, that will be for it for today. We okay. I think Tosin is trying to get back. She's here.
Sorry
So
for that. Yeah.
it's okay. Please continue.
Okay, like I said, I've used myself as an example. I've cited other examples. Um, People, in terms that let's use waste. How can we convert um, our the waste we generate? How can it become something useful, such that they don't end up degrading the environment? So these are questions when we go into our research, we should go with how do I, like for instance, in my current community, we have a problem with waste management. And I'm thinking, what solutions, what indigenous solutions? If I say incinerator now, it's big. Where would we get the money? It's a small community. But what indigenous ways can we use to, manage such waste? And yet it will not degrade the environment and can maybe still be useful at the end of the day. So these are questions that we should ask ourselves. These are points that can be that can be used. I was going to cite an example of technology. Now we are in the era of social media. People want content, perhaps like people want content in terms of environment, and you are a student of environmental studies, environmental technology. That's where it comes in. You begin to think how you will get more skills and begin to make beautiful designs that will be useful in the environmental space. So we should you see how we can merge. For us that have come from two different backgrounds, find how it relates to it. That's the essence of education. Yeah, like someone once said that someone who studied business administration and then leave school, sorry, and then begins to look for who would employ him. So what did you go to school to study if you cannot start up a business of your own? But like I said, going back, we want immediate gratification. We are not patient. We are not willing to pay the price and build up till we get to that point. But we forget that people who are a success today started out that way. They started from the ground, they started from the scratch. There were once people that went without food, went without water, without clothes, did not have shoes. But they kept walking, walking till eventually today they are known for something. But that's because they have invested time, they've invested all their research and a lot of things into it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You've actually done a good publicity for, getting people involved in environmental causes, and this is important because the truth of the matter is that with our ancestors, or what I mean by ancestors are about 2-3 generations away, have developed in ways that have put generation of these days in situations that are not so palatable in terms of the effect of all the years of living dangerously, burning fossil fuel and all that, and the impact we're facing today. But for us there's a responsibility on us on what are we going to do about that, knowing what we've discovered today. Are we just going to sit back or continue with business as usual? And if we continue that same way, what does it portend for people in the future? So it means that environmental response and businesses and environmental initiative, it's still it's a virgin industry for a lot of young people. We need the world, everybody to be together to save the world. So there's a place for everyone in terms of
Exactly.
how you can connect what you do to the environment. It's the only platform. Yeah, we have come to know. Thank you, and thank you for shedding more light light on that. And okay, as a parting shot, what advice would you have to give? Would you want to give to young people? Because if you look at the world out there, environmental concern is not just one of those focus for young people. It's either it's entertainment, it's music, and all that. How can we continue to get more people engaged? How can we begin to amplify some of the things that people like you do to make it more
Okay.
attractive?
Like I said earlier, we need to also research and be able to convince people on the profits that comes from engaging in environmental matters. That it's not just about preserving the environment. We can still make money even though we are preserving the environment. But that being said, but we should also understand that not everybody will get into the environmental space in any way. Youths these days are more drawn to it, but the number of youths who are passionate and willing to take on the environmental space should take on courage. Let your voice be heard. Don't be quiet.
Mm,
Say what you know. Give yourself some visibility. It is when you speak that people hear. A lot
mm,
of times I do a lot of social media advocacy education, and I believe I always think nobody notices, but
mm,
I've interacted with families, with friends who now begin to tell me that no, that they've learned a lot from the things I've been putting out over time. So you think no one is learning, you think no one is watching, but really people are. All you need is consistency. Keep amplifying your voice, keep
mm,
advocating, keep developing yourself, so that when the opportunity comes that will provide profits, you'll be able to deliver as a youth.
mm,
You can, pursue other things. Like I was advising someone who I said, well, like me, I pursue other things, other entrepreneurial things I'm into. But, I still have a goal,
mm,
and which is environmental advocates environmental sustainability, and I'm developing myself. Keep at it. When you stop developing yourself, then there's nothing. It's not everything. Yeah, money is essential, but sometimes money is not everything.
mm,
We need, you just need that courage to keep going. And then where I attended a training recently, and climate reality leadership call, and someone I was listening to, one of the trainers said something. When you feel alone as a youth advocate for the climate environment, remember that they are like, even if we are so little, maybe like 22,300, remember there are people like you. Connect with people like you, youths like you who are advocating. There you get get encouragement, you get inspiration, seeing what they are doing. Then you don't give up easily. You keep pushing, you keep developing, you keep speaking. Like I said, speak, give yourself visibility. It's when you speak that they hear. If you keep quiet, nobody knows, nobody gets educated. So it's more about taking action. Let's just sum it up that way. Take climate action, take sustainable action, speak about it.
mm. Thank you. Wonderful solution, Tosin. I just want to add in conclusion, and for me, I think one other ways that I encourage young people to start who want to find the fruit or who feel like they also want to add a voice but do not necessarily know what to do. Um, it's as simple as just going to the website, just typing out environmental quotes, for instance, and picking one quote per day and just pasting it on your Facebook wall. That way you're creating a traction gradually, and one step leads to the other. But what's most important, like Tosin said, is getting started. It is not enough to sit back and daydream. There's a space for you out there. It's a virgin, I don't want to use the word industry, but
Yeah,
the
it's
world need everybody to
very
be on
prospect.
sustainability issues. There's a lot of prospect in it. And so thank you
A
so
lot
much.
of prospects.
Thank you so much, Tosin. I hope we'll have another opportunity to
You're
chat with you
welcome.
again. And I mean, you're so loaded. There's so much we want to get out of you. Thank you. But
That's okay. I'll be looking forward to it. It's been my
sure,
pleasure.
sure.
You are going.
Yeah. Before you leave, I always like to leave a shape where with people who show up on this show. It could be prayer. It could also be a positive vibe that we're sending to you. But we're sending this positive wish and to say thank you for what you do. So I'll start by reading that we give thanks to all those who have moved in their lives to heal and to protect the earth in small and in large ways. Blessing on the composters, the gardeners, the breeders of worm, mushroom, the soil builders, those who cleanse the water and purify the air, all those who clean up the mess that others have made. Blessing on all those who defend the trees and all who plant trees, who guard the forest and who renew the forest. Blessing on those who heal the cities, who bring them alive with excitement, creativity, and love. Blessing and gratitude to all who stand against greed, who risk themselves, and to those who have bled and been wounded, and to those who have given their lives in service of the earth. Blessing on you, Tosin, for all you do for earth. We appreciate it. And please do more. Duplicate yourself.
Thank
Okay?
you. Thank you. I will. I certainly will. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. It's been a
Okay.
pleasure.
Okay, viewers.
Bye.
Yeah, that's it for today. And thank you for joining us today. And like Tosin have said, please go out there. There's a place for you, irrespective of what your primary discipline is. There's a place for you. Just important for you to sit down and think what is the intersection between what you do and the environment or climate change. We need you to save the earth. Thank you all. And I'll be coming your way again next week, same time, with another Earth champion, like Tosin. All right, then. Bye bye.